Planning podcast content can sometimes be a struggle, especially as you hit the double digits in your podcasting journey. The thing is that you don't have to stress over or overthink what to talk about on your podcast. There's literally content ideas all around you. Keep listening to today's episode to learn my 3 podcast content planning hacks that has allowed me to publish over 250 episodes and still have a growing list of content ideas. Hey, Mama. Welcome to Marketing Without Socials for Moms, the go-to podcast for moms in business who want to stop relying on social media to build their business and build it in a way that fits their current season of life. I'm your host, Andria, a wife, mama of 2, and visibility strategist for moms. Each week, I'm giving you the inside scoop on how to increase your visibility, leads, and sales through podcasting, email marketing, and collaborations. Ready to truly make social media optional in your business? Grab your chai tea latte and let's dive into today's episode. So when I first started my podcast in October 2022, I did not think about hitting 100 episodes. I have so many content ideas that sometimes I forget to slow down and look at what episode I'm publishing. The thing is that this didn't come to me naturally. One thing that has really helped me is being crystal clear on the purpose and goals of my podcast. This is something I talk to my clients about all the time because having those purpose and those goals clear, that's going to drive your content. So I know exactly how I want to leverage my podcast and my business, and that drives my content ideas. So the 3 hacks I'm sharing today are rooted in leveraging your podcast for your business. These are the exact strategies that I teach my clients and will be teaching inside of the Social Media Detox Club. Now, I'm currently updating the curriculum inside the membership, and this expansion of the club is going to include resources to support with planning podcast content and doing it in a way that's strategic, that's going to support your goals. So let's get into these 3 hacks. The first hack is to plan your podcast content based on your goals for the month. So thinking about things like, do you have an upcoming launch for a new offer? Are you going to be hosting like a live masterclass, some kind of challenge? Maybe your goal is even to, grow your email list. Like really thinking about, okay, what are your goals for the upcoming month? Now, back in episode 85, I share how to leverage your podcast as part of your launch strategy. But your podcast can support you in generating more leads for an upcoming launch. Just like you plan launch content for socials, emails, all these other platforms, you need to plan launch content for your podcast. Your podcast can be a pivotal part of launching your new offer. So last year, when I launched the Accelerator, my group program that supports with podcast and email marketing strategy, I leveraged my podcast as part of that launch strategy. And I had people convert into that offer just by listening to those podcast episodes. So your podcast, like this is still content you're creating. This is still a way to generate leads, nurture your audience, and convert them into your offers. But the thing is that you have to plan content that is going to support with those things. So you also want to look at, what offers you want to sell in the upcoming month. So again, just planning around your goals for the month. In episodes 60, 76, and 78, I talk about planning your podcast content around your offers and selling your offers on your podcast. Again, your podcast can drive leads and sales. It can do both. It can literally serve you at each stage of the customer journey, but you must actually sell in your podcast content to see those conversions. So the episodes I mentioned, I'm definitely going to link them in the show notes if you want to go and take a listen to those. But as I mentioned earlier too, if part of your goals is to grow your email list, then drive listeners to a freebie or sell them on joining your email community to get them on your email list. Bottom line is that you need to get clear on your goals, and that will drive the type of content you create each month. So really just aligning your goals and your podcast content with those goals. How can your podcast content support you in achieving those goals? Okay, so that was hack number 1. Hack number 2 is to plan your podcast content around client questions. So what questions are your clients asking you, and how can you turn it into a podcast episode? You guys already know I do this all the time because the clients I'm working with are dream clients. And so if they are asking those specific questions, then I know other people who are those dream clients are asking those same questions. And so I bring those questions over here to the podcast and answer them. And so when you create content around those conversations, you know that your dream clients are having, you're going to attract more of your dream clients. Like, your clients give you the best content, bottom line. Like, the questions they ask, or, even just watching their growth and the results that they get and different things like that. Like, it gives you so much content. And again, if you're working with a dream client, then creating content around the things that that dream client is saying and asking and everything is just going to attract more of those clients that are similar to that dream client. Okay. Then hack number 3, plan your podcast content around potential client inquiry questions. So this is kind of similar to, planning content around the questions your actual clients are asking you. But the nice thing about this is that when you plan podcast content around potential client inquiry questions, that's really going to help those people who they have those questions, but they don't want to ask you directly. And so you creating content around those questions that are running through their mind and literally keeping them from joining your offer, like you bringing that to the podcast is going to move those people along the customer journey. It's going to move them over to finally making the decision to move forward with working with you. Now, these are a gold mine for content ideas. They are asking these questions to help them move from interested to actually investing in working with you. And so creating content around these topics, again, is going to help those people who are on the fence about buying, jump off the fence and move forward with investing and working with you. If one person has this question, then you know that others in your community have these same questions. Like, to give an example, one question that came up with the Social Media Detox Club is, okay, do I actually have the time to, commit to this? Do I actually have the time to go through the resources and utilize, the tools available inside of the membership? And so I created an episode that addressed that objection. I created an episode just essentially saying, like, you already don't have time. Like, you're already feeling burnt out on socials and struggling to keep up with it. The reality is that you have to get visible, because if you don't get visible, you're not creating that brand awareness. You're not creating that offer awareness. You're not generating leads, and that's going to hurt your business. So why not do it in a simplified way instead of, creating content 3 to 5 times per week for socials? Why don't you leverage collaborations, doing 1 to 2 per month and generating a minimum of 50 leads? And so when I created that episode, I had someone reach out to me saying, like, that was the objection she was currently facing, like the time aspect. But listening to that episode helped her realize, well, I'm not doing anything now, and that's already impacting my business. And so if I join this membership, it's all laid out for me. Andria's finding the collaborations for me. She has the resources inside. And so that's going to simplify my visibility and everything. And so creating content around those questions, like, that could be the very thing that moves that person from going back and forth about whether or not to invest to making that firm decision to invest in your offers. Like, this is like the type of content you need to be creating on your podcast. This is a type of content that takes people from just listening to your content to actually like, oh, let me move forward working with her. Let me jump inside of this offer. Let me get this support. So these are the 3 hacks that I use to plan podcast content that drives leads and sales as a busy mama. If you want more support with planning your podcast content and setting your podcast up to support your marketing and sales strategy, you need to join us inside of the Social Media Detox Club. As I shared in earlier this month on the podcast about the changes coming to the membership, I'm currently updating the curriculum, and literally you're going to have all the tools and resources you need to create podcast content that converts. You'll also be able to submit your podcast content ideas for direct feedback from me. This is something that I've supported clients with, and just being able to have someone really like talk to them like, okay, what are your goals? Like, what are you trying to achieve through this episode? And then really talk through those content ideas and really making sure they're creating content in alignment with those goals. It's amazing, right? It makes a world of a difference. Like, you're not sitting there wondering like, oh, is this actually, the right type of content I should be creating? Like, you'll be able to know with confidence, like, okay, I'm creating content that's going to support me with X, Y, and Z and achieving X, Y, and Z and whatnot. So join us inside of the club. Head on over to mamaturnedmompreneur.com/membership to join today. This is also linked below in the episode description and in the show notes. All right, mama, I'll catch you in the next episode. Hey, mama. Thank you so much for taking time out of your busy day to hang with me. I would love to keep the conversation going. So head to mamaturnedmompreneur.com/marketing without socials to join my email community. I share even more tips and strategies for building a business that doesn't rely on social media and one that fits your current season of life, as well as more behind the scenes of mom and business life. All right, mama, that's it for today, but I'll catch up with you again next week.